considering there's nothing really to talk about with the football being suspended at the moment, I thought I'd take a trip back into memory lane, or recent memory lane, and do my top 10 football matches of the last decade. All teams, don't really know how I'm going to rank it in terms of match quality, the shock, yeah, so it'll just be things like that that I grade it on. But enough of me talking, I suppose, and let's get straight into it with number 10, which is Manchester United 8, Arsenal 2, a scoreline that still shocks you when you see it. Did that really happen? Yes, it did really happen. Much of the aftermath was about how poor Arsenal were, but Manchester United really don't get enough credit for how brilliant they were that day. And you can see in the picture that I'm showing at the moment how much it shocked everyone, including Mr. Wenger. Arsenal, not even over exaggerating, made Ashley Young, yes, Ashley Young, look like Cristiano Ronaldo. So you can see Arsene Wenger there, probably knowing he needs to take a look at himself and his players. But this match also featured incredible displays by Wayne Rooney and Nani for a United side who in 2011-12 were thrashing most teams. So in some ways it can't be considered a surprise, but stuffing them back that badly, that has to be considered a surprise. Number 9, Bayern Munich 5, Wolfsburg 1. Now you may be thinking, Bayern Munich, Wolfsburg, Bundesliga. Why does this make the top 10? But the nature of this victory and a performance from a certain Robert Lewandowski means that it has to make our list. Wolfsburg went 1-0 up just before half time at the Allianz Arena before Pep Guardiola, manager of Borussia Dortmund at Bayern Munich at the time, brought on Lewandowski from the bench. The Poland international then produced an individual performance like no others and scored not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 goals in the space of just 9 minutes. It really is worth watching the whole thing in real, just to remind yourself of how utterly mad this was. Number 8, Spain 1, Holland 5, or Netherlands, I say Holland. Going into the 2014 World Cup, Spain looked unstoppable after 3 international tournament victories in a row. Euro 2008, World Cup 2010 and Euro 2012, in case you're wondering. On the opening game of the tournament, however, they were absolutely swept aside by a rampant Dutch team who dealt the world's dominating team a humiliating defeat, which you could say they've never really recovered from and haven't been the power that they were then ever since. And of course, it featured the famous Robin van Persie diving header, one of the most iconic goals of this decade, without a shadow of a doubt. Number 7, Ajax 2, Tottenham Hotspur 3. Now I know what you'll be saying, recency bias and all of that. But what an absolutely incredible game this was. Ajax went into the second leg with a 1-0 advantage after beating Tottenham at the new stadium. And they were major favourites to go up, especially when they went 2-0 up and it looked like game over. Then up stepped Lucas Moura, who produced a quite stunning hat-trick to complete a remarkable late turnaround. First, the Brazilian struck twice in the space of 4 minutes at the start of the second half, but didn't look like it would quite be enough as we approached the closing stages. In the final seconds, though, Lucas Moura got one final chance and steered the ball home to book Spurs into their first ever Champions League final. Really incredible stuff. Number 6, Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2. Now, this game wouldn't get into top 10 game of the decade, but it was the wider meaning, which is why it got in. Leicester City becoming champions of England. So that is right. The team who for the previous 10 years have been lower Premier League to upper Championship competing the Great Escape the year before, and then continuing that momentum to win the league. Incredible stuff. Although this wasn't even a bad game. The Battersea Stamford Bridge had everything. Chelsea's comeback from 2 goals down meant Tottenham could obviously no longer catch Leicester. The fact Chelsea had nothing to play for at this point, as they slumped towards a 10th place finish, somehow made it all the sweeter, with the Blues and Eden Hazard in particular putting in one of their best performances of the season to deny their rivals a title. As a result, we were treated to one of the biggest footballing shocks of all time, with Leicester overcoming pre-season odds of 5,000 to 1 to win the Premier League. Still madness when you think about it. Number 5, Bayern Munich 1, Chelsea 1. Chelsea were not even the best team in England that season, but somehow they were the best team in Europe. Their Champions League victory came through some truly impressive grit from a depleted side, managed by, of all people, Roberto Di Matteo. Yes, he's a Champions League winning manager. Of all people, of course. And it's hard not to acknowledge they fully deserve a place in the finest moments of the decade. In fairness, it was a toss-up between including this game or Chelsea's semi-final comeback away to Barcelona, but Didier Drogba's one-man show at the Allianz Arena just did it for us. The fact that Chelsea beat Bayern Munich in the final at the Allianz Arena just made it all the more sweeter. Yeah. Wow. Number 4, Manchester City 3, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Aguero. Limbs. That's about all that game was. Yes. It does say something about this decade when this game only ranks 4th in our list, with Man City clinching the Premier League with the last kick of the season. Man United's win at Sunderland on the same day meant they were top of the table as the full-time whistle blew on their season. But moments later, City scored not 1 but 2 late goals, especially the last one from Aguero in the dying seconds of stoppage time was complete and utter madness. City's success since then has been rather more comfortable, but this title was the one that started it all for them, and one which will never be forgotten. 3, Barcelona 6, Paris Saint-Germain 1. Paris Saint-Germain led 4-0 in the first leg and were facing a smooth journey into the next round of the Champions League back in 2016-17. However, Barcelona had other plans, racing into a 3-0 lead to really put the pressure on, only then to find themselves with a bigger mountain to climb after Edinson Cavani bagged an away goal at the Nou Camp. This meant Barcelona needed to score 3 in the final half an hour to have any hope of going through. By the 88th minute, you could forgive a large chunk of their fans starting to leave and beat the traffic. But somehow, Neymar inspired his team and got the 3 goals that they needed to go through. Neymar scores a sensational free kick in the 88th minute, a penalty in the first minute of stoppage time, and a brilliant chipped ball from Sergio Romero to cause madness. No, I keep on saying that word. Probably should stop it. Celebrations like I've never seen before. Truly one of the best Champions League comebacks ever. But was it as good as this one? Number 2. I think you know what's coming. Liverpool 4, Barcelona 0. I'm sure everyone is more than aware of what happened on this magical night at Anfield, with Barcelona 3-0 up on aggregate after thrashing Liverpool in the first leg of the last season's Champions League semi-final. The return fixture looked like a formality. However, Liverpool tore the script apart and took an early lead through Divock Origi. But however, it was only 1-0 at half-time. So they still had plenty of time to do against the likes of Lionel Messi in the second half. But did they manage it? Yes, they did. Gini Wijnaldum netted a quick-fire double to level up the aggregate score before a superb piece of thinking from Trent Alexander-Arnold saw him play the cheekiest corner of all time, giving Origi his second of the night and a place in Liverpool folklore. The Reds, of course, went on to beat Spurs in the final in June. That's not on the list. And this special side continues to dazzle as this year, well, may come to a close, may not. With the next decade surely set to see them win their Premier League title for the first time in 30 years, maybe. As you can tell, the script was written before this happened, so I'm kind of editing it as it goes along. Yeah, maybe they might win it, maybe not. Who knows? Thank you, COVID. Number 1, Brazil 1, Germany 7. It's hard to put this one into words, but as individual matches go, this has got to be one of the maddest or insane results in sporting history, let alone football. Brazil hosting the World Cup and hoping to win the competition for a sixth time were utterly dismantled by a rampant Germany side in the semi-final, with a crowd in shock, and many home fans went home in tears as Joachim Löw's men went 5-0 up inside the first half an hour. The goals would just not stop flying in, with Germany eventually 7-0 up in the second half before Oscar scored the most meaningless of consolation goals for Brazil. Still scored in the World Cup semi-final. It was sheer humiliation for a great footballing nation and a wonderful sight for Germany on their way to winning the trophy, with the added bonus of Miroslav Klose becoming the top scorer in World Cup history. That is all for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Follow us on Twitter, link in the description below, for daily football news, gossip and all of that stuff. Other channels are just appearing on the screen just about now. Subscribe to them. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.